Welcome to InfoHub. In our headlines, Lethem finally gets its magistrate court. Guyana prepares for appearance before ICJ. STEM Guyana launches a series of certification sessions for technology leaders, and Vulnerable Prisoners training program launched. Stay tuned for the details of these and more. Daddy! Welcome back. Here's our first report. Residents of the Upper Takatu, Upper Essequibo region will now benefit from improved access to justice with the opening of the Rupununi Magisterial District Court office and courts at Aishalton, Anai and Karasabai. Details from Stacey Carmichael.
Speaking at the opening of the Rupununi Magisterial District Court office at Lethem last Friday, President David Granger emphasized that access to justice is integral to equality. The head of state said that access to justice is central to the democratic character of the state, which is guaranteed by the Constitution.
Access to justice equally is a public good and must be available to everyone. Access to justice is a fundamental and a foundational principle of the rule of law.
In this vein, Minister of Communities Ronald Bulkan assured those gathered that the opening of the District Court office brings the administration one step closer to bridging the gap between coastland and hinterland.
The commissioning today of the two new magisterial districts that we've heard about would benefit persons down south as well as up north. Similarly, a resident of Taushida, for example, would not have to contend with the additional 3 hours commute to Lethem, as they would be served by the Karasabai magistracy. The same would be for someone living in Irong Paru, which is the western end of the South Pacaraimas and just across the mountain from Monkey Mountain.
Acting Chancellor of the Judiciary, Justice Yonit Cummings-Edwards, highlighted the numerous challenges in the region as it relates to the dispensation of justice, which will now be alleviated.
Before, when Guyana Airways was in operation in areas like Monkey Mountain, the magistrate will come in on the flight, and 30 minutes before the flight goes back, within that period, he or she will hold court and they go back to Georgetown. Could that be justice in the circumstances? If they didn't get that flight to go back out, they will have to stay until whenever another plane will come in. And persons, it wasn't only on the magistrate side. Justice is not one-sided. Justice has to be for both sides. Residents of the region, persons coming all the way from Karasabai or even Aishalton, most of the time, the court will be held here in Lethem, and they will have to travel sometimes 2 days just to get to court.
Residents will also benefit from the services of a resident magistrate, Justice Alan Wilson, who said that there are no more excuses for delays in the dispensation of justice within the district.
Stakeholders today participated in a national consultation on the Global Compact for safe, orderly and regular migration facilitated by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the International Organization for Migration. Tiffany Rodius has the details.
Foreign Affairs Minister Carl Greenidge noted Guyana is committed to the discourse and the efforts to find a solution to global migration.
It's in the context, it is in that context that we deemed it necessary to be an integral part of the international community's quest for this compact for safe, orderly and regular migration by 2018.
While Guyana is not significantly affected by migration, it is considered an important country of transit. It is also a country of origin for migrants. IOM's Chief of Mission in Guyana, Robert Natello, described the discussion as crucial and timely.
It's important to note that in order to achieve its ambitious goals, the Global Compact needs to listen to, consider, and respond to the interests, priorities, and experiences of governments and other stakeholders in different regions of the world, taking into account all perspectives and experiences of migration.
Guyana was among the 193 UN members which adopted the New York Declaration for Refugees and Migrants in 2016. IOM is leading global consultations to discuss migration challenges as it negotiates the Global Compact to ensure good governance of migration and minimize negative consequences associated with migration. For InfoHub, Tiffany Rogers.
Minister of Foreign Affairs Carl Greenidge says Cabinet will be pronouncing on the United Nations Secretary General's decision to refer the Guyana-Venezuela controversy to the ICJ this week. Tiffany joins us again.
The immediate work has already begun. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and its advisory team and its lawyers met all day yesterday into the evening, and they mapped out the broad, let us say, options, the issues that needed immediate attention, and those for which the Cabinet has to give policy guidance.
Minister Greenidge reinforced that the International Court of Justice must pronounce on what is essentially a legal contention raised by Venezuela.
We are not setting out in the court to get the court to go now and mark boundaries. That's not the issue. The issue is simply an allegation made by Venezuela in 1962 that a treaty that they had honored for 61 years is null and void.
The United Nations Secretary General handed down his decision last week. For Guyana, the decision marks the ending of a decades-old controversy. However, Venezuela has criticized the decision, stating only the 1966 Geneva Agreement can reach a peaceful solution. Guyana maintains that it has exhausted the means of settlements provided in the Geneva Agreement. Minister Greenidge added a pronouncement from the ICJ would be comforting for Guyana since treaties are internationally fashioned. For InfoHub, Tiffany Rogers.
Zanil Williams now tells us that over the past week, the Ministry of Public Telecommunications has collaborated with STEM Guyana to launch a series of certification sessions for 45 technology leaders who are interested in establishing technology clubs in their communities.
The one-day training workshop in science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and robotics was aimed at equipping the coaches with technological skills. Karen Abrams of STEM Guyana says the training was to inspire youths to create clubs and prepare teams for competitions in the Scratch and Robotics nationwide leagues.
Our hope is that they would go back into their communities and inspire the young people around them to join the STEM clubs and to be part of the STEM League.
Coaches were informed about upcoming competitions, how to organize and lead a technology club, how to fundraise, how to prepare young people to compete in a global marketplace, and the basics of building and programming robots. The newly certified coaches all said that the training has been interesting and that they are anticipating taking their newfound knowledge back to their communities.
The STEM training that has been done there is really great. It's awesome, and it facilitates brainstorming, problem solving, and analyzing information. And so we're really honored to have our group be here, prepping them to be coaches so that we can take and further develop in our respective communities.
Abdullah Sokram, a representative of the Deaf Association of Guyana, said that the training will help to further develop persons with disabilities.
It hasn't been very helpful as yet, but we're there and we're learning. The thing is that we're trying to understand right now what's happening, and so I think that's going to help us to develop.
A local group, Kasik, is planning to take their skills and training to the hinterland in efforts of using technology to bridge the coastal hinterland gap.
I feel that in Rupununi, not much is done when it comes to technology because the distance, for example, and reaching out there is very difficult at times. So I feel that these students in that area very much need that support.
STEM Guyana plans to do a second training session in March, and the STEM League will be launched later that month. Zanil Williams for InfoHub.
A 5-day training program for prison officers officially began today. Stefan Gabriel has the details.
The Handling Vulnerable Prisoners training program, introduced by the United Kingdom to help officers of the prison service identify and care for vulnerable prisoners, began today. Acting British High Commissioner Ron Rimmer.
It is a pleasure to be here this morning to mark the beginning of the UK-funded training, which is designed to help officers of the prison service and some members of the police force become better equipped to handle vulnerable prisoners.
The initiative was commended by Acting Director of Prisons, Gladwin Samuels.
Today, I see this training as a step in the right direction in order for us to be better equipped to identify those persons with special needs, those persons who are deemed vulnerable, so that they can be adequately catered for.
Also present was the Minister of Public Security, Kemraj Ramjatan, who noted that the program is vital to creating a suitable environment in which to care for these persons.
When you cut across one standard treatment for all prisoners, you are going to have adverse effects on those who require the special treatment. The best that could be done is that at least the training of officers to take care of these vulnerable prisoners is especially important, especially in the context of in the same area where they are housed with the ordinary, regular prisoner.
Director of Create Better Minds, a mental health and disability organization, Caroline Ravello, and United Kingdom consultant, Michael Hamilton, will be the facilitators of the 5-day program. For InfoHub, Stefan Gabriel.
As part of its efforts to recommit to promoting preventative measures against HPV, which can lead to cervical cancer, the Ministry of Public Health held its Teal Walk on Sunday. Natisha Isaacs has more.
Minister within the Ministry of Public Health, Dr. Karen Cummings, explained that majority of cervical cancer cases are diagnosed in its 4th stage, which results in significant mortality rates.
An important fact to know is that cervical cancer can be prevented. With your help, we can all ensure that every woman knows how she can reduce her risk of the disease and the steps she can take to look after her health. Thus, we must ensure that women attend cervical screening either on their own or when invited.
The minister added that women must also know where to find support in the case of them being diagnosed with cervical cancer. According to data, cervical cancer is the 2nd cause of death among women in Guyana. Senior medic Sarah Daniels explained one of the major steps the ministry is taking to curtail cervical cancer is VIA testing.
My program basically is VIA, where we're advertising that all ladies or all women within the age range of 29 to 49 should come out and have their VIA test done. That's what we are, the Ministry of Public Health, is promoting. It's a test that we use to check for cells that can lead to cervical cancer if not treated.
Teal is the color identified to represent cancer. Hence, the Teal Walk was held in observance of World Cancer Day and Cervical Cancer Awareness Month 2018, under the theme, Prevent Cervical Cancer, Get Screened Today. Leticia Isaacs for InfoHub.
The streets of Lethem came alive on Friday, February 2, when approximately 356 primary and secondary students of all ages tramped through the main street for the region's children's match competition. Paul McAdam was there, and he has our final report.
The revelers tramped from the airport junction into the Lethem Wadapna community ground. Nursery pupils paraded earlier from the Republic Bank junction into the Takatu gas station square. One of the main organizers, Matthias Thomas, told InfoHub that the annual event was one of the mainstays of the region's Mashimani activities.
We have 2 secondary schools, one from North, one from Central. Then we have 6 primary schools.
Could you give me the names of them?
All right. For the secondary school, we have from North, Anai Secondary. For Central, we have St. Ignatius Secondary. For the primary school, we have from Anai Primary, which is North. For Central, we have Arapaima Primary, St. Ignatius Primary, Potarinao Primary. And for the South Central, you have Farquharno and Sand Creek Secondary.
The 29-year-old was asked about the level of participation across the Upper Takatu, Upper Essequibo region.
In every year, they always feel to participate, but the only problem is that not everybody is willing to participate because of transportation problem. So those who can afford can come out.
Only 2 nursery schools participated, with St. Ignatius and Anai nurseries taking 1st and 2nd places. At the primary level, St. Ignatius, Arapaima, Anai and Kumu were placed 1st, 2nd and 3rd respectively. For secondary schools, St. Ignatius was 1st again, with Anai placing 2nd and Sand Creek in 3rd. The Mashimani celebrations are jointly funded by the ministry, the region's business community and several individuals. The youth events will end with a general knowledge quiz currently on the way and the Spelling Bee competition, which ends on February 28. This year, the government is moving as far as possible to have similar float parades and other Mashimani-related activities in all 10 administrative regions across Guyana.
Please be reminded to schedule an appointment for your annual eye examination. Routine visits to your optometrist can preserve your vision over the long term. Thanks for watching. Remember to connect with us 24/7 on our website and social media. Goodbye.